Well, it seems that the NBA fans got a rude awakening for how the draft lottery works now that there's a new process in place of how the #1 overall pick is determined. We know that the top 4 teams have a very even odd of getting the #1 overall pick, as we've seen that this whole thing just completely blew up, and now for the foreseeable future, we're going to see how NBA teams decide to attack the draft process. Are they going to tank? Are they not going to tank? There's a lot of stuff going on. But first of all, let's talk about this in terms of who got the #1 overall pick. We know that the Pelicans got the #1 overall pick. David Griffin is the luckiest man alive. He's a 4-leaf clover. He's a lucky rabbit's foot. He's whatever superstition that you believe in. If you believe in that stuff, David Griffin is that thing, because the fact that he is able to get these #1 picks is absolutely crazy and ridiculous. But nevertheless, the fact that the Pelicans got the #1 pick, the first story that I want to talk about, of course, is that, because I think it's a little sad that they got the #1 overall pick, especially how they treated Anthony Davis. You also had the owner who doesn't really care about basketball. She's more of a football owner. In my opinion, I am not a fan of how the Pelicans handled all their situations, and it's just not a glamorous franchise. When I think of Zion Williamson, getting drafted #1 overall, which is more than likely than not he's going to for the New Orleans Pelicans, am I going to be excited for a Zion Williamson game on a Wednesday night on ESPN or TNT on a Thursday, seeing Zion Williamson in a Pelicans uniform? No, I'm not going to be excited to see Zion Williamson in a Pelicans uniform. I'd rather see him in a Knicks uniform. I'd rather see him in a Lakers. If you're going to rig the whole thing, and we'll just jump into it, the Lakers got the #4 overall pick. If you're going to rig it when they were supposed to get the #10, you might as well just give them the #1 pick and let Zion Williamson team up with LeBron. I think that would be a more interesting story than what we're getting here. I mean, I'm just getting a little bit heated right now, because I think that the Pelicans, to me, is a franchise that doesn't deserve the #1 overall pick, but somehow get the #1 overall pick. I don't get it. The Cavaliers have done that for numerous amount of years. David Griffin's been part of that, and, maybe there's something about hiring him, and maybe the Lakers should have hired him. Maybe they would have gotten the #1 overall pick if they would have hired David Griffin as an LA Laker GM. But nevertheless, let's move on from the Pelicans talk, and let's move on to the other stuff that's going on here. The Lakers of course, are very lucky in this whole situation, because getting the #4 pick means that they can do a lot of things in terms of packaging the #4 pick in Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, and figuring out what they're going to do with that pick. Are they going to trade it to New Orleans and maybe get Anthony Davis out of there and have Zion Williamson team up? That is, of course, if he's drafted by the Pelicans, and team up with another player from this draft. That would be a very interesting situation, as we know that Anthony Davis wants to leave. I know that David Griffin's trying to do his damnedest to try and keep Anthony Davis in New Orleans. To me, I don't think that he's going to stay in New Orleans. I know that Anthony Davis is a fan favorite before the season, but to me, I just don't think he wants to stay, because they didn't give him what he needed in order to make sure that this team can get over the hump and somehow get past the Golden State Warriors, get past the Blazers, see what they can do for the foreseeable future. So the Lakers, like I said, have a very good chance of making sure that they get the pieces that they need to fit around LeBron James, and making sure that LeBron is happy. He's excited to play a game of basketball, even though the other stuff in the front office is just a chaotic mess, and the head coaching stuff is just absolutely something I would not want to deal with. Nevertheless, it makes the Lakers a little more interesting if that trade can happen. Now, the biggest thing that we have to talk about are the losers in this draft. And to me, one of the biggest losers is the Atlanta Hawks, because the fact that they had the better chance of getting the #4 overall pick, and potentially were one ping pong ball away from getting the #1 overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks absolutely got screwed over. It would have been nice to see Trae Young team up with somebody else, but nevertheless, the Atlanta Hawks are going to have to do something with the 8th and 10th pick. They're going to have to figure out what are they going to do with that to trade, maybe package it, maybe give something to where you get another free agent or superstar. That is going to be the biggest thing for the Atlanta Hawks as they move forward with Trae Young, Josh Collins, and Kevin Huerter for the foreseeable future, as they try to be the Golden State Warriors 2.0. Now, another loser, of course, are the New York Knicks, because we know that the Knicks wanted the #1 overall pick, because Zion Williamson would have sold out Madison Square Garden instantly. It would have been a hard ticket to get even in the nosebleed section. That's how big Zion Williamson would have been for the New York Knicks, but nevertheless, the Knicks still get a good chance at getting a guy in John Morant or RJ Barrett. And it's going to be a question of who did the Grizzlies take, because they are the #2 overall pick in this NBA draft. Those, to me, are the biggest storylines that we have to talk about in this NBA draft lottery, and not even just that in terms of the lottery itself, but just you know, when we look at everything, it now incentivizes teams not to tank the way that they do. We remember that the process was started because of tanking, how teams just wanted to make sure that they they lose a lot of games so that way they can get the #1 overall pick or get a better chance of getting it. Now we're going to see whether or not teams like the New York Knicks, the Grizzlies, you know, the Suns, the Pelicans, are these teams going to play to win, or are they going to play to see, you know what, let's see if we can get in the top 10 and maybe we might be lucky and get a guy in Zion Williamson or the next big thing in the NBA draft, whether it's Cole Anthony or LaMelo Ball, whoever it is going to be in the next year's draft. I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked at it that much. I know there's a lot of great players, but nevertheless, that is what's going to be going on here. And that's going to be the biggest question mark for this whole thing for the foreseeable future, like I talked about. How are NBA teams going to attack the NBA draft? Are they going to attack it in the fact that, hey, you know what, let's try and play for the win. Maybe we could be in LA Clippers. Maybe we can sneak into the 8th seed. Or are they going to try and do the tanking thing, see what they can get out of it because they know that tanking somehow works? But that's going to be the biggest question mark that I want to ask you guys here on The Charge. My name is Bernie. Like I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new, and also, like I said, let me know what you guys think of the draft lottery process. Are you guys a fan of the Pelicans getting the #1 overall pick? And what do you guys think about the Lakers moves? What should they do with that #4 pick? Should they trade it? Should they keep it? That's what I want to ask you guys. And like I said, my name is Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, before we get out of here, I just want to say thank you guys for hitting that subscribe button. Also, thank you for checking out our videos. Make sure to check out our other ones we have here, such as talking about Ja Morant and Zion Williamson themselves. And I'll see you guys in the next video.